I think it gives you some sense of the scale of the challenge and the scale of the way in which it's being addressed. You're talking about 55 countries. 54 of them have already signed up to the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, only Eritrea has not yet, and 34 have already ratified it. It will, by orders of magnitude, be the largest free trade organization in the world if that agreement is fully implemented. Exactly. But NADOS has both set the ambition and defined the challenges. She's spoken, in addition to that, to one of the instruments within this overall framework, regional economic commissions, and we're privileged this afternoon to have representatives of two. Firstly, the East African Commission, and secondly, ECOWAS on the West. So I'm going to turn, if I may, to Vincent Biruta first to speak both from a Rwandan and from an East African Regional Economic Commission perspective.
Thank you. Thank you. As it is my first time to participate in this World Policy Conference, I wish to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Thierry de Montbriard for having invited me, and also to appreciate the high quality of the panels which discussed various important topics. As mentioned before, regional integration is, for African countries, not an option, but a must if we want to achieve economic development and peace. And we have the tools in place, the African Continental Free Trade Area, which has been signed by 54 countries and ratified by 48 member states. Some of them have started trading under that agreement. And we have also 8 regional economic communities, one of them being the East African Community. These regional economic communities facilitate the integration process, and I focus only on the East African Community, though Rwanda is also a member of the Economic Community of Central African States, and for member of COMESA as well. The East African Community was revived in 2000 because it was created first in 1967, but it was dissolved in 1977 due to differences among founding countries, which were Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. In 2000, the treaty of establishing the East African Community was signed again, and other members joined the 3 founding members, with Rwanda and Burundi joining on 1st July 2007. Maybe if I can have a map there to help you to understand what you are meaning. So that is the East African Community when it was established, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. But in July 2007, Rwanda and Burundi joined. Thereafter, South Sudan on 16 April 2016, Democratic Republic of Congo in March 2022, then Somalia recently in March 2024. With these 8 members, these countries covering an area of 5.4 million square kilometers with a population of around 350 million and a GDP of 350 billion US dollars. This East African Community was established with the ultimate goal to achieve political federation, which is will be the first step after the single custom territory, the common market, and the monetary union. The benefit from this integration, as far as Rwanda is concerned, Rwanda is a landlocked country, and we joined the East African Community to have access to a bigger market, but also to ease our access to the ports, the seaports of Mombasa and Dar es Salaam, which are at 1,400 kilometers from our capital, Kigali. So integration into East African Community expanded Rwanda's economic and diplomatic opportunities, And the adoption of the East African Community Customs Union and Common Market Protocol granted Rwandan businesses access to a larger regional market, fostering trade, economic growth, and investment. The implementation of the Customs Union and the Common Market Protocols has reduced the cost of doing business, reducing transport costs from 6,000 US dollars to 4,000 US dollars if we consider the northern corridor linking us to Mombasa port, and from 5,300 US dollars to 3,500 dollars if we use the central corridor to Dar es Salaam. The time for shipping cargo has reduced from 21 days to 4 or 5 days if we use the port of Mombasa, and from 18 days to 3 to 4 days if we use the port of Dar es Salaam. And this was also facilitated by the establishment of one border post policy. We have on our borders established one border post where civil servants of both sides work in the same buildings, and the procedures to clear the goods which are being imported or exported to Rwanda or exported from Rwanda are cleared in these one border stop post, which really reduce the number of days which are needed to have this good cleared. So we have put in place other instruments to facilitate the free movement of people, where Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, and South Sudan are using national IDs or student IDs just for people to be able to move from one country to another in our region. And some East African Community partner states, namely Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya, are implementing the East Africa Community single tourist visa, allowing tourists to have multiple entry within those countries. This visa is costing $100 only. We have also one area network in Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda. You don't need to change your SIM card when you cross to these countries. You can continue using the same SIM card, and these facilitate the movement of people within our area. So Rwanda has benefited a lot from joining the East African Community, but we have also brought to the East African Community some of our good experiences. We have contributed to the integration agenda of the East African Community. We have this one-stop border post policy I mentioned. It is one of the policies which was spearheaded by Rwanda, and our neighbors accepted it. And this has reduced the delays for the movement of goods by 84%. We have also, Rwanda has a visa openness policy that facilitates people to come to Rwanda. You know, for members of the African Union, they don't need to have a visa to come to Rwanda. They have receiving a free visa for 30 days, and it is the same for citizens from Commonwealth countries, and for the Organisation de la Francophonie. They can come to Rwanda without applying for a visa. They get it for free for 30 days. And for other citizens of the world, they can get their visa on arrival for 30 days, and they are requested to pay a visa fee. Of course, there are challenges to the integration agenda of our continent and our region. One of them is the low pace of integration by some member states. We mentioned the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It has been largely adopted, but there are other protocols which should be ratified really to facilitate free movement of goods and people. One of them is the one related to the protocol related to the free movement of people, which has been ratified by only 4 member states of the African Union. And of course, there are these interstate tensions from time to time. We have mentioned the conflict in some of our regions. There are still internal armed conflicts, and there is also the need to invest in infrastructures because goods cannot move without proper infrastructures, airports, ports, railways, and so on. Rwanda has achieved a lot in the last 30 years, and we believe that we will achieve even more in the coming years. We have adopted our 2050 vision, and we aim to becoming a country with an upper middle income status by 2035, with a GDP per capita of over $4,000, and from the current GDP of $1,040. And in 2050, we aim at becoming to be among the high-income countries with a GDP per capita of over $12,476. I wish to conclude with a quote of my president, His Excellency Paul Kagame, who said, I quote, "We don't want to be a status quo country or a status quo people. Vision 2020 was about what we had to do in order to survive and regain our dignity. But Vision 2050 has to be about the future we choose because we can and because we deserve it." End of quote. So Rwanda believes that planning, good governance, accountability, transparency, security, and long-term political and economic stability supported by regional integration can lead us to the Africa we want. I think.
Super. Thank you, Vincent.